You cannot walk into a new year with old stones in your bag. If you don't put them down, they will slow your destiny. My dear friends, as this year comes to a close, many of you are smiling on the outside, but carrying silent weight on the inside. Unfinished dreams, broken trust, regret over words you said or never said, effort you gave, and appreciation you never received. And today, before the calendar changes, I want to ask you something, very gently. Why should 2026 suffer for the mistakes, pain, and disappointments of 2025? Life does not demand perfection. Life only asks for honesty and courage to begin again. Let me walk with you through 7 lessons, not as rules, but as steps on a journey of inner freedom. Many people believe time heals everything, but time does not heal what we refuse to release. Time only passes. Healing begins the moment you decide to stop carrying what no longer belongs to your future. Think about this quietly. Why does a memory from years ago still hurt today? Why does one sentence spoken by someone long ago still echo in your mind at night? It is not because the event was powerful. It is because you kept visiting it. Pain has a strange habit. When it is fresh, it knocks loudly. But when it stays too long, it becomes furniture. You stop noticing it, yet it occupies space in every room of your heart. Some of you are reliving 2025 again and again without realizing it. A betrayal that made you question your worth. A failure that made you doubt your ability. A loss that left a silence no one knows how to fill. And here is a gentle truth. What you don't release, you don't just remember. You relive it. You wake up with it. You carry it into conversations. You project it onto people who never caused it. And slowly, without realizing, yesterday begins to steal energy from tomorrow. Holding on feels justified. After all, you were hurt. You were wronged. You were disappointed. But ask yourself honestly, how long will you punish yourself for someone else's mistake? How long will you let one chapter decide the tone of the whole book? Let me share something simple. If you carry a heavy bag for 5 minutes, it feels manageable. Carry it for 5 hours, and it becomes painful. Carry it for 5 years, and it damages your posture. Emotional weight works the same way. Unreleased pain changes the way you see people. It makes you suspicious where you could have been trusting, defensive where you could have been open, cold where you were once kind. And the tragedy is, the person who caused the pain may have already moved on, but you are still paying the price. Releasing does not mean pretending it didn't hurt. Releasing means refusing to let it define who you become. Forgiveness is misunderstood. People think forgiveness is for the other person. It is not. Forgiveness is for you. It is you saying, I deserve peace more than I deserve to be right. Sometimes closure does not come from an apology. It comes from acceptance. Acceptance that some people will never understand the damage they caused. Acceptance that not every story ends with justice, but every story can end with growth. You see, life never asks you to forget. Life asks you to learn and then travel lighter. Pain when held becomes poison. Pain when released becomes wisdom. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to camp at the place where they fell. Before you step into a new year, pause, look honestly at what you are still holding. Is it anger? Is it regret? Is it the need for validation? Is it the desire to be understood by someone incapable of understanding? Ask yourself one sacred question. Is this helping me grow, or is it keeping me stuck? Because the truth is, you cannot heal in the same place where you keep reopening the wound. Release does not erase the past. It reclaims the future. And when you finally let go, something beautiful happens. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart becomes lighter. your energy returns. You stop surviving and start living again. So before 2026 arrives, place the weight down, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. When you release what hurt you, you don't lose the lesson, you lose the burden. And that is the first act of real freedom. There is a quiet pain that comes from believing your failure defines you. Not the loud kind that makes you cry in front of others, but the silent kind that whispers, maybe I'm not good enough. Many of you entered 2025 with hope. You made plans, you tried, you believed this year would be different. And when things didn't work out, something inside you collapsed. Not because you failed, but because you concluded the story too early. We are taught to see failure as a verdict, a stamp, a final judgment on our ability. But life does not work in full stop. Life works in commas. A comma pauses the sentence, but it does not end it. The problem is not that you failed. The problem is that you started speaking to yourself as if the story was over. You didn't get the opportunity you prayed for. The relationship you invested in ended. The business idea didn't survive. And somewhere along the way, disappointment turned into identity. You stopped saying this didn't work and started saying I don't work. That is where the damage happens. Failure is an event, not a personality. Every meaningful life has chapters that feel like dead ends, but most of the time they are only turns. Think of how many times you learned to walk. You fell more than you stood, yet no one looked at a child and said, this child is a failure at walking. Why are we kinder to children than we are to ourselves? Failure is feedback. It shows you what needs refinement, not resignation. Often life breaks your plan because your plan was too small for the person you were becoming. You wanted comfort. Life wanted growth. You wanted certainty. Life wanted courage. You wanted quick success. Life wanted character. And when those expectations collide, it feels like a loss. But listen carefully. What feels like delay is often preparation. What feels like rejection is often protection. Some doors close because if they stayed open, they would have trapped you in a version of life that was beneath your potential. The seed does not curse the darkness of the soil. It understands that burial is part of becoming. Your failure did not bury you. It planted you. If you look back honestly, you will notice something powerful. The strongest qualities you have today were not born in comfort. They were born in struggle, patience, humility, empathy, resilience. These virtues don't come from success. They come from surviving what didn't go as planned. Do not rush to rewrite your story based on one difficult chapter. Great books are never judged halfway through. Sometimes life pauses you not to punish you, but to realign you. And sometimes the pause feels painful because you are being redirected towards something you cannot yet see. The danger is not failing. The danger is letting failure shrink your faith. Faith does not say, I will succeed. Faith says, even if I fall, I will rise wiser. Carry this truth with you gently. You are not behind. You are being shaped when things don't work out. Ask better questions. Not why me, but what is this teaching me? Because lessons learned in difficulty save you from destruction later. Do not enter 2026 apologizing for trying. Do not lower your dreams because one attempt fell apart. Your courage to begin again is far more important than your fear of failing again. Remember this, every master was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every strong soul was once a broken heart that chose hope again. Failure is not a wall, it is a doorway if you have the humility to walk through it. So take a breath, lift your head, your story is still being written, and the comma you are standing on is making space for something more meaningful to follow. There is a deep exhaustion many people feel today that sleep cannot fix. They rest, yet they are tired. They take breaks, yet they feel drained. This kind of tiredness does not come from doing too much. It comes from carrying too much. emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Somewhere along the way, many of you accepted burdens that were never yours to hold. You became the fixer, the peacemaker, the dependable one. You absorbed other people's stress. You carried their expectations. You felt responsible for their happiness, their success, their approval. And slowly, without realizing it, your own needs moved to the bottom of the list. You started measuring your worth by how useful you were to others, by how much you could give, by how little trouble you cause. Let me say this gently. Love does not demand self-erasure. Service is sacred, but self-neglect is not sacrifice, it is imbalance. You were never meant to be everything for everyone. Many of you feel guilty when you say no, guilty when you choose rest, guilty when you prioritize your growth. But guilt is often a sign that you have been trained to overgive. There is a difference between responsibility and over-responsibility. Responsibility empowers. Over-responsibility exhausts. You are accountable for your effort, not for everyone's outcome. If someone refuses to change, that is not your failure. If someone misunderstands you, that is not your fault. If someone disappointed because you chose yourself, that is not selfishness. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors, deciding what deserves access to your energy. When you carry everyone else's expectations, you leave no strength to build your own future. Some of you stayed in situations far too long because you feared being seen as difficult. But in trying to keep the peace, you lost your peace. You thought endurance meant strength, but endurance without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Even the strongest bridges have weight limits. Exceed them and they collapsed. Not because they were weak, but because they were overused. Your soul has limits too. Let me share a quiet truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and no one benefits when you are burnt out. There is dignity in stepping back. There is maturity in saying, "This is not mine to carry." Life does not reward martyrs who abandon themselves. Life honors those who serve with wholeness. In 2026, choose clarity over chaos. Choose intention over impulse. Ask yourself before taking on another burden, is this my responsibility or am I trying to earn love? Love that must be earned through exhaustion is not love. It is control. You do not need to prove your worth by suffering. The moment you stop carrying what isn't yours, something beautiful happens. Your mind becomes sharper. Your heart becomes calmer. Your relationships become healthier. You stop reacting and start responding. Remember this, peace is not found by fixing everyone. Peace is found by honoring your role and releasing the rest. God never asked you to play every role in every story. You were given one life, not to be consumed by others, but to be lived with purpose. When you set boundaries, you are not pushing people away. You are protecting the energy that allows you to love sincerely. So before you step into the new year, check your hands. Are they holding what is truly yours, or are they gripping expectations that were never meant for you? Put down the excess weight, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to remain whole. If you look at your life only through the lens of what went wrong, it will always feel unfair. But if you look a little deeper, you will notice something sacred hidden beneath the struggle. Every scar carries a lesson, not a lecture, a lesson. Something life taught you that comfort never could. Gratitude is often misunderstood. People think gratitude means smiling through pain or pretending everything was fine. That is not gratitude, that is denial. True gratitude does not erase suffering, it redeems it. Some of you carry memories you wish never happened, moments that changed you forever, losses that took something you can never get back. And yet, quietly, those very moments shape the strength you stand on today. The person you are now is wiser because of what you endured, more compassionate because of what you survived, more grounded because life humbled you. Gratitude begins when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this awaken in me?" Pain has a strange way of sharpening awareness. It strips away illusions. It teaches you what truly matters. Before the hardship, you chased many things. After the hardship, you value fewer things. But more deeply, that is growth. If life had given you everything you wanted, you might never have discovered who you were meant to become. Some doors closed so you would stop settling. Some friendships faded so you could learn self-respect. Some delays occurred so you would develop patience. When you look back with wisdom, you realize life wasn't punishing you, it was preparing you. Gratitude does not say, "I'm thankful this happened." Gratitude says, "I'm thankful I grew through this." There is a big difference. Many people allow their wounds to make them bitter, but bitterness is pain that refuses to transform. When pain is processed, it becomes purposeful. When pain is avoided, it becomes poison. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you lived, struggled, and survived. In ancient times, scriptures were not written with ink alone. They were written with sacrifice, endurance, and devotion. In the same way, your life lessons were not written in comfort. They were written in moments when you had to choose faith over fear. Gratitude turns suffering into meaning. It allows you to say, "I would not wish this on anyone, but I will not waste what it taught me," and that shift changes everything. When you are grateful, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You start seeing yourself as a student of life. You stop asking for life to be easy. You start asking for strength to walk with grace. Gratitude grounds you. It brings humility to success and hope to hardship. It teaches you to bow, not in defeat, but in reverence for how far you've come. Before this year ends, take a moment, not to list what you lost, but to acknowledge what you gained in wisdom, resilience, and perspective. Thank life for the lessons you never asked for but deeply needed. Thank yourself for staying, even when leaving would have been easier. When gratitude enters the heart, resentment loses its grip. Comparison fades, peace grows quietly, and suddenly the past no longer feels like a burden, it feels like a foundation. So do not carry your scars with shame, carry them with reverence. They are reminders that you were tested, and you endured, and that quiet gratitude will become the strength that carries you forward. There is a moment in everyone's life when excitement fades and reality remains. Motivation leaves, emotion settles, and what stays be. End is habit. Many people wait to feel inspired before they act, but inspiration is unpredictable. It visits when it wants and leaves without explanation. Discipline, on the other hand, is loyalty. It is showing up even when the feeling is gone. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. When you keep promises to yourself, something powerful happens inside you. Your confidence grows quietly, not from applause, but from integrity. Most breakthroughs are not dramatic. They are built in silence, waking up when it would be easier to sleep, practicing when no one is watching, praying when doubt is loud, choosing consistency over comfort. Small actions done daily shape destiny more than grand intentions done occasionally. Many people dream of change but resist structure. They want growth without routine, success without sacrifice, but life does not work that way. The person you will be in 2026 is being shaped by the habits you repeat today. Discipline is saying no to the good so you can say yes to the great. It is choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. Some days discipline feels heavy, but regret is always heavier. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. When discipline becomes devotion, effort becomes worship. Your daily actions become a prayer, a quiet declaration that your life matters. You don't need extreme changes, you need faithful consistency. Read a little every day. Reflect every morning. Move your body. Feed your soul. Growth does not ask for perfection. It asks for sincerity. There will be days you miss, moments you fall short. Discipline does not mean never failing. It means never quitting. Even 5 minutes of effort done daily will outgrow bursts of motivation done occasionally. Discipline builds trust, not with others but with yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. When you respect your time, your energy aligns. When you respect your body, your mind sharpens. When you respect your spirit, your life gains direction. Discipline brings freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from regret. Freedom from living on reaction. People often say discipline is hard, but living without direction is harder. The pain of discipline lasts moments. The pain of regret lasts years. As you move toward a new year, do not ask for more motivation. Ask for better habits. Build a life that does not depend on mood. Show up on ordinary days. Those days decide extraordinary futures. And remember, when discipline is guided by faith, even small steps become sacred. Your future is watching what you do today. There comes a point in life when you realize that control is an illusion. No matter how carefully you plan, life will interrupt. No matter how sincere your effort, outcomes will surprise you. And this is where many people suffer. Not because life is difficult, but because they are trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. Faith is not passive. Faith is not giving up. Faith is active surrender. It is doing your part with sincerity and trusting the rest to a higher wisdom. Many of you are anxious not because things are wrong, but because things are uncertain. You want guarantees, clear answers, a visible path, but growth often begins where clarity ends. When life removes certainty, it invites trust. Some doors did not open in 2025 because opening them would have harmed you. Some prayers were delayed because timing was sacred. You may never know what you were protected from, but trust that protection existed. Faith does not mean everything will go your way. Faith means whatever comes your way will shape you, not break you. When things don't make sense, remember, a chapter doesn't reveal the whole story. You see a moment, life sees a lifetime. Trying to control everything creates fear. Trust creates peace. Peace does not come from having answers. It comes from believing there is meaning, even without them. The farmer plants the seed. He waters the soil, but he does not dig every day to check if it's growing. He trusts the process. Your job is an effort. The outcome belongs to God. When you try to play both roles, you exhaust yourself. Surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is understanding that there is a rhythm to life beyond your understanding. Some of your greatest blessings will arrive in ways you never planned. Some of your greatest lessons will come from paths you never chose. Trust allows life to surprise you. When you release control, anxiety loosens its grip. You stop fighting reality. You start flowing with purpose. Faith does not eliminate fear. It teaches you how to walk despite it. There will be moments when the road feels dark. Walk anyway. There will be moments when you feel unsure. Move anyway. Trust is not built in comfort. It is built in uncertainty. When you step forward without guarantees, you discover courage you didn't know you had. Let go of the illusion that everything must make sense immediately. Some things only make sense in hindsight, and some things are not meant to be understood, only accepted. As you move into a new year, release the need to control every outcome. Do your best. Stay sincere. Stay grounded. Leave the rest to grace. Because when you trust more and control less, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a journey guided by purpose. And before you step forward, let me leave you with this truth, not as a conclusion, but as a quiet beginning. Life will not ask you how perfect you were. It will ask how sincere you were with the chances you were given. Do not carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow's promise. What broke you was not meant to be your identity, it was meant to become your wisdom. Walk into the new year lighter, not careless, but free, not fearless, but faithful. Do your work with discipline. Face your challenges with courage. And when things don't go your way, bow your head, not in defeat, but in trust. Because when you stop competing with others and start contributing with humility, life begins to make sense. Remember this always. Success should make you grateful, not proud. Failure should make you wise, not bitter. And no matter how uncertain the road ahead feels, if your intentions are pure and your effort is sincere, you are never walking alone. Take the step, let go of the weight, and trust that what lies ahead is being prepared with purpose. Your next chapter is waiting.